Hey, it's your boy Jose from Big Me Sports. How are you guys doing today? Now, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the page and also check us out on Spotify. But hey, look, this episode we are talking about some NBA basketball. And first, we're going to talk about the Miami Heat. Now, my Miami Heat, yes, I'm a homer 305. My Miami Heat have started off the season 2-1 as the current moment as we speak. First game coming out, firing all cylinders, beating the Milwaukee Bucks 137-95. Oh, when I mean a beatdown, this was a beatdown. And one thing I took away from this game was this was a revenge game. I don't care what any player from Miami Heat said. They wanted this game as really, really bad. Just being swept by the Milwaukee Bucks in the playoffs, them winning the championship, them having that little strut to themselves. Yes, there might have been a couple people out like Drew Holiday and the Lopez. I think it's Robin Lopez. Yeah, he might have been out, and a couple other people, but they ain't going like that 40-point lead wasn't going to change because I think we're just firing all cylinders. The one thing I liked about start off the season is the defensive rotation. Um, it it all starts because the acquisition, I believe, of PJ Tucker and Kyle Lowry. These are defensive minded people, players, and they know where to be. And I feel like it's trickling down because you can see Duncan Robinson, you can see Struce being in position to be and take the charge or rotate to the other man. And I feel like this Miami Heat team is very defensive minded. Now on the offensive side, yes, we played hell of a game versus the Milwaukee Bucks, but I knew the next game versus the Pacers, kind of knew that that was going to be a drop off game. So if I was going to bet on that game, I was going to actually bet on the Pacers because sometimes when you play, you go into that opening game and you play them, defending champion, you give it your all, and then you win the game, kind of have a letdown game after that. And I felt like we could have pulled it off, Tyler Hero going off for like 30 plus points, but nobody else helped out. And we lost the Pacer game. But the rebound tonight after playing the Orlando Magic, having that win. So now they're 2-1. But again, with this team, what I'm liking about this team is Jimmy Butler doesn't have to be the ball dominant person. Yes, tonight he did go off scoring wise, but I feel like Kyle Lowry on this team is a blessing due to the fact that he's the one that's mainly holding onto the ball, setting up people, pushing the pace. I saw it when he was in Toronto, but it's a different aspect when you see it up close and you see it when he's playing for your team. But how much Kyle Lowry likes to push the ball and get mismatches on the defensive end, because that's what's happened when you push the ball. You got the defenders scrambling, and they're really not matching up well when you're pushing up the ball. They're trying to match up to the closest person to them. And that kind of is an advantage for the offense because, if you got a center covering Duncan Robinson, Duncan Robinson is going to, run around him or, go to a 3-point line. A lot of centers don't like to step out that way. So I feel like this, with the acquisitions of, Kyle Lowry, PJ Tucker, Markieff Morris had a really good game today. 16 points as I last checked. He brings that tenacity. He had, the first two games, he really hasn't found a shot. I believe today felt more in rhythm today. But defensive wise, him getting the rebounds and being another big body in there to get that, the defensive rebound. So, I'm really liking this team. And one person that is going out there and proving a point is Tyler Hero. Now, the first two games, he's gone out there and just balled out, man. And a lot of people were critical of him with his his comments of he wants to be in the same conversation as Luka and Trey. And a lot of people give him flack of that, but that's just his nature. I think that's just his mentality, his dog mentality, that he should be up there, and he's been proving it the first, couple games. Even though he had an off night tonight, I felt like tonight was more of him, setting up people. Yes, his shot was not there, but him driving, kicking to Morris, kicking to Strus, so on and so forth. This was a really good game for Tyler because, sometimes you're not going to get all that, the 20 plus games, the 30 plus. It's all what you do when you're not shooting well. It's how you do on a defensive side and setting up for other teammates while they flourish in the basket. So, man, this team, I'm look, I'm really liking what I'm seeing about with this team. I think we're dogs on defense. The shooting, it's the Milwaukee game was outstanding. Fell down there versus the Pacer game, and then the 3-point shooting in this Orlando game was horrendous. But again, it's gonna pick up. You're gonna eventually think that the shooting is gonna come around, and I feel like it is. But man, this it's exciting. The next game, I believe that we're playing the Brooklyn Nets, so we'll see how we fare with a top scoring team like Brooklyn with KD and all the people that they have with James Harden. But don't write this team off. The Heat can be in that top 3 seed, either 1, 2, or 3. You never know how hot they can get. But what I'm liking is on the defensive side that we're dogs on the defensive side. Next team I want to talk about, and it's just one of my co-hosts' favorite teams, it's the Lakers. Now, they have been struggling as of late. They're 1-2. Their only win was versus Memphis last night, but they lost to Golden State and the Phoenix Suns. And I feel like, man, this team, like right now, like this team is just living up to what everybody's saying. They're looking old. Yes, the offense can be there. Like, LeBron's going to have his points. AD is going to have his points, but who's going to be that other one to step up? Now, they're banking on Russell Westbrook, but he's struggling and he's trying to find his way into this offense. The last game versus Memphis, look at Carmelo Anthony coming out and balling. So I feel like this team reminds me of the Miami Heat when the first year of the Big Three. We're struggling, on both sides of the ball. We didn't have a really good record, and then we went on a run. And I feel like, yes, this team's old, but they have a lot of experience. They can score with you guys. They can score with any team at, during any given, any given time, any given game. But I think their issue is on the defensive side, and you wouldn't think that with, LeBron, AD, Dwight Howard in there, DeAndre Jordan. But I think on what hurting them right now is, loss of Caldwell Pope, and some other, Caruso, which was a really good defender. I feel like, that right there, those wing guys are the loss of those guys kind of really, really hurting the Lakers right now. But look, I will say the Lakers are going to turn this thing around. They have the team to do it. They have experience to do it. They're trying to find their ways, where players like to be. And Russell Westbrook just needs to calm down and don't try to prove everybody wrong. Just go out there and play your game. I think he's just, how would I say it? I want to say he's like pressing too much on trying to be that elite player and trying to prove people wrong, which he doesn't really need to do that. Just play his game and get to his spot. And he'll make the Lakers, successful. Right now, it's just on the defensive side, the Lakers is just looking really, really bad. And They almost gave up that game versus Memphis. Thank God to John Morant, missing that free throw. But man, it's again, I think it's going to be turned around. But the Lakers are I want to say hitting. You should hit the panic button, but you should be somewhat concerned of what you're seeing in the first three games. Um, and the last thing, if you didn't check out the last podcast, when with me and my co-host JC, we talked about what what team will be a surprise team, um, you know, going into the NBA season, and we both picked the Chicago Bulls, due to the fact getting DeMar DeRozan was just a huge pickup for them, and Lonzo Ball was also a huge pickup. Um, Man, I'm trying to figure out the Chicago Bulls because they're 3-0 at this current moment, um, and they're looking good. They can score, but their two wins was versus the Detroit Pistons twice and the Pelicans. So and those are not really elite teams. I'll say like the bottom tier. So I just don't know what to expect, from the Chicago Bulls, like what kind of team they are in that sense, because they're going to score with DeRozan, Levine, Vucevic, but I want to see what's going to happen on the defensive side. I feel like they're going to be a liability on the defensive side due to Vucevic not really being an elite defender. He can get the rebounds, but pick and rolls, you can tear him up on pick and rolls. Um, and yeah, it's just when the size matchup. But they're 3-0. They're looking good. They're pushing the ball, and it's a fast pace and exciting offense to see. So we'll see it. But I knew that this team was going to be good, and they haven't let me or JC down. But yeah, this is a great start to the season for Chicago. But that's it for this NBA podcast. Again, if you haven't already, please subscribe, like, and comment the page, and also check us out on Spotify if you like to listen to us on your way to work or your way to pick up the kids or whatever the case may be. Look us up on Spotify. Check us out on Instagram, Big Meat Sports. We put all the links we make it easier for you guys. Put all the links to our social media pages so you can just click, and this is a one click and go type of thing. Yeah, so we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you for tuning in.